Stage 17, Warner Brothers, 2004. Hilary Swank stands alone in a boxing ring that smells of sweat and old leather. She has been preparing for this moment for 8 months. 8 months of training 6 hours a day. 8 months of bruised ribs and bleeding knuckles. 8 months of becoming someone she is not. And now, in 30 seconds, Clint Eastwood will walk onto this set and ask her to do the thing she has been dreading since the day she signed on. He will ask her to act. But here is what Hilary does not know yet. What none of them know. Not Morgan Freeman, not the crew, not the studio executives watching from Video Village. Clint Eastwood does not ask actors to act. He asks them to be. And there is a difference that will change Hilary's life and redefine what it means to trust a director. To understand what happens next, you need to understand where Hilary is in 2004. She is 30 years old. She won an Oscar 4 years earlier for Boys Don't Cry. She proved she could disappear into a role, could transform herself completely. But she also learned something dangerous. She learned that Hollywood rewards suffering. The more you torture yourself, the more you method yourself into oblivion, the more critics praise your commitment. So Hilary committed. She gained 20 pounds of muscle. She trained with professional boxers until her hands were destroyed. She lived on protein shakes and ice baths. She stopped seeing friends, stopped going home. She became Maggie Fitzgerald, this broken girl from Missouri who wants to be a fighter. And somewhere in that transformation, Hilary forgot how to just be present. The night before filming begins, Hilary cannot sleep. She is in her trailer going over the script for the 100th time, every line memorized, every emotional beat mapped out. She has notes on top of notes. She has built an entire backstory for Maggie, where she went to school, what her father said to her when she was 7, what she dreams about when she closes her eyes. Most directors would love this. Most directors want actors who are prepared, who have done the work, who show up ready to execute the plan. But Clint Eastwood is not most directors. 6 a.m., the set is quiet. The crew is setting up lights. The camera team is checking lenses. Morgan Freeman sits in a director's chair reading a newspaper, calm, present, like he has done this 1,000 times before, which he has. Then Clint walks in. He does not announce himself. He does not make a grand entrance. He just appears, wearing the same outfit he wears every day on set. Simple shirt, simple pants, a baseball cap pulled low. He walks to the monitor, sits down, looks at the setup. No fuss, no drama, just a man ready to work. Hilary watches him from across the set. Her heart is pounding. This is Clint Eastwood, the man who made Unforgiven, the man who won 4 Oscars, the man who does not suffer fools or waste time or tolerate anything less than perfection. She expects him to be demanding, expects him to want to rehearse, to block the scene, to discuss motivation and character arcs and all the things directors usually obsess over. But Clint does not do any of that. He just looks at her and says, "Ready?" Hilary nods. She has been ready for 8 months. She walks to her mark in the boxing ring. Morgan joins her. They are about to film the scene where Frankie, Morgan's character, agrees to train Maggie. It is the turning point of the film, the moment where 2 broken people decide to save each other. Hilary has rehearsed this scene in her mind 500 times. She knows every pause, every gesture, every emotional transition. She is ready to perform. Clint calls action, and something unexpected happens. Hilary starts acting. She is doing everything she planned, hitting every mark, delivering every line exactly as rehearsed. It is technically perfect, emotionally safe, and completely wrong. After 45 seconds, Clint calls cut. Hilary's stomach drops. She messed up. She must have messed up. She looks at Clint, waiting for notes, waiting for him to tell her what to fix. But Clint does not give notes. He just looks at her for a long moment. Then he says, "You are thinking too much." Hilary blinks. That is it. That is the note. 3 words. She waits for more, for explanation, for direction, for something to grab onto, but Clint just turns back to the monitor. Let's go again. They reset. Hilary is confused now, uncertain. She does not know what to change. She was doing everything right, everything she prepared. But Clint said she was thinking too much. So what does that mean? Should she think less? How do you think less when you are standing in front of cameras and crew and one of the greatest directors in history? Clint calls action again. This time, Hilary tries to quiet her mind, tries to stop planning every moment. But she cannot. She is too trained, too disciplined, too committed to the process. She delivers the scene again, almost identical to the first take, technically perfect, emotionally dead. Clint calls cut. Hilary wants to disappear. She is failing. She can feel it. She is failing in front of everyone. Clint stands up from his chair, walks slowly to the boxing ring. The crew goes silent. This is the moment where directors usually explode, where they remind everyone who is in charge, where they tear an actor down to build them back up. But Clint does not do that. He steps into the ring, stands next to Hilary, speaks quietly. Only she can hear him. You have done the work. You know this character better than I do, better than anyone. So stop trying to show me that. Just be her. Hilary looks at him. How? Clint's face softens. Just barely. Stop performing. Stop trying to get it right. There is no right. There is only truth. And truth does not come from your head. It comes from somewhere else, somewhere you cannot plan or control. You just have to trust it. Hilary feels something crack open inside her. This is the opposite of everything she has been taught, everything she has been doing. Clint continues, When I say action, I do not want you to act. I want you to listen to Morgan. Really listen, not to your plan for the scene, not to what you think Maggie would do. Just listen, and whatever happens, happens. Can you do that? Hilary nods. She does not know if she can, but she will try. Clint walks back to the monitor, sits down, calls action. And this time, Hilary does not think. She does not perform. She just stands there in the ring with Morgan Freeman and listens. Listens to his voice, listens to the rhythm of his words, listens to the silence between sentences. And something shifts. Maggie appears. Not the Maggie Hilary planned, not the Maggie she rehearsed, but a real person, vulnerable, desperate, hopeful, broken, human. Morgan feels it too. He is not acting anymore either. He is just being Frankie. And the two of them, these two broken people, they find each other in the space between the words. The scene lasts 2 minutes. Clint does not call cut until it is over, until the moment is finished, until the truth has been told. When it ends, the set is silent. The crew knows they just witnessed something rare, something unrepeatable. Clint looks at Hilary. That is it. That is the film. We will do a few more takes for coverage, but you just gave me what I need. Hilary walks off set, shaking, not from fear, from relief, from the realization that she has been trying too hard her entire career, that all the preparation, all the suffering, all the method, it was just armor, protection against actually being vulnerable, actually being seen. Clint Eastwood just taught her that real acting is not about control. It is about letting go. Over the next 8 weeks, Hilary watches Clint work with the same quiet confidence. He does not yell. He does not give long speeches about motivation. He does not micromanage performances. He just creates space. Space for actors to discover truth. Space for mistakes. Space for magic. Morgan Freeman has worked with Clint before. He knows the rhythm. He shows up, does the work, trusts the process. But even Morgan is amazed by how little Clint intervenes. Most directors cannot resist the urge to control, to shape, to impose their vision. But Clint understands something most directors do not. Actors know their characters better than anyone. And if you trust them, if you create the right environment, they will give you something better than anything you could have planned. There is a day, 3 weeks into filming, when they are shooting the scene where Maggie gets injured. It is brutal, physically demanding, emotionally devastating. Hilary has been dreading it. She does not know how she is going to get through it without breaking down. Before they start, Clint pulls her aside. Whatever you need to do to get through this scene, do it. Cry, scream, shut down. I do not care. I am not going to judge you. I am not going to tell you it is too much or not enough. I am just going to film what is true. And if you need to stop, we stop. You are safe here." Those words. You are safe here. Hilary has never heard a director say that before, never felt that level of trust, that level of respect. They film the scene. Hilary does not hold back. She lets herself break. And Clint does not flinch, does not try to manage her emotion or shape her performance. He just witnesses it, just holds space for her pain. When it is over, Hilary is destroyed, sobbing in the corner of the set. Clint walks over, hands her a towel, sits down next to her, says nothing, just sits. After a few minutes, Hilary asks, "Was that okay?" Clint looks at her. That was true. That is all that matters. $1 Million Baby wraps 10 weeks later. The final cut is devastating, honest, unflinching. It is a film about people who have nothing and give everything, about the cost of dreams, about the impossibility of protecting the people you love. Hilary watches the rough cut with Clint in a small screening room. When it ends, she is crying, not because it is sad, because it is real, because Clint let her be real. She turns to him. "Thank you for trusting me." Clint nods. "I did not trust you. I trusted the character. You just had to get out of the way." The film premieres in December 2004. Critics call it a masterpiece. Audiences are destroyed. At the Academy Awards in February 2005, $1 Million Baby wins 4 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Morgan Freeman, Best Actress for Hilary Swank. When Hilary accepts her award, she thanks Clint, not just for directing her, but for teaching her that acting is not about showing. It is about being. That preparation matters. But trust matters more. That control is the enemy of truth. Years later, other actors start talking about working with Clint. Sean Penn describes filming Mystic River, how Clint let him find Jimmy's rage without interference, how he created an environment where Sean felt safe enough to lose control. Matt Damon talks about Invictus, how Clint barely gave him any direction, how he would just say, "You know what to do," and let Matt discover the character himself. Angelina Jolie describes Changeling, how Clint protected her through the most emotionally difficult performance of her career, how he never pushed, never demanded, just created space. The pattern becomes clear. Clint Eastwood does not direct actors the way other directors do. He does not impose his vision. He does not manipulate performances. He does not treat actors like tools to execute his plan. He hires people he trusts. He creates an environment where they feel safe, and then he gets out of the way. He lets them do what they do best: be human. Tom Hanks, who worked with Clint on Sully, says it best in an interview. "Most directors want to show you how smart they are, how much they know about filmmaking, how much control they have. Clint is the opposite. He is so confident in his vision that he does not need to prove anything. He just sets things up, steps back, and lets the truth emerge." And that is terrifying for actors at first, because we are trained to look to the director for validation, for guidance, for permission. But Clint does not give you permission. He gives you responsibility. He says, "This is your character, you figure it out," and that forces you to dig deeper than you ever have before. There is a moment on the Sully set that captures this perfectly. They are filming the water landing sequence. Tom is in the cockpit, surrounded by green screen and technical crew. It is not a natural acting environment. Most directors would walk Tom through every beat. Where to look, how to react, what to feel. But Clint does not do that. He just says, "You have flown planes. You know what this feels like. Show me." Tom is momentarily lost. There are no specific directions, no safety net, just trust, just responsibility. So Tom stops trying to act like a pilot and starts being a pilot. And the scene becomes something else, something real. This is Clint Eastwood's gift, not his technical skill, not his storytelling, not even his filmmaking. His gift is trust. He trusts actors to know themselves. He trusts the script to work. He trusts the audience to understand. He trusts the process, and that trust creates freedom. freedom for actors to take risks, freedom for crews to do their best work, freedom for truth to emerge. But there is something else, something deeper. Clint's directing style is not just about efficiency or minimalism. It is about respect. He respects actors as artists, not servants. He respects their process, their choices, their humanity. He does not treat them like children who need constant guidance. He treats them like professionals who know their craft. And that respect changes everything. Hilary Swank talks about this years later. She says, "Before $1 Million Baby, I thought good acting was about how much you could suffer, how much you could transform, how far you could push yourself. But Clint taught me that good acting is about how honest you can be, how vulnerable, how present, and you cannot be present if you are trying to control everything. You cannot be vulnerable if you are protecting yourself." Clint created an environment where I did not need to protect myself, where I could just be, and that changed not just my acting, it changed my life. This is the legacy of Clint Eastwood, not the films he made, not the awards he won, not even the stories he told. His legacy is the way he treats people, the way he creates space for truth, the way he trusts when everyone else wants to control, the way he steps back when everyone else wants to step forward. He understands something fundamental about art and about life. You cannot force truth. You can only create the conditions for it to emerge. You cannot control people into greatness. You can only trust them to find it themselves. On that set in 2004, when Hilary Swank was overthinking, overplanning, overprotecting, Clint Eastwood could have micromanaged her performance, could have given her 100 notes, could have shaped her into his vision of Maggie Fitzgerald. But he did not, because he understood that his vision did not matter as much as her truth, that the best performance would come not from control, but from freedom, not from direction, but from trust. And that is what makes Clint Eastwood different from almost every other director in Hollywood. He is not trying to prove he is the smartest person in the room. He is not trying to impose his ego on the film. He is not trying to control every variable. He is just trying to create space for truth. And then he gets out of the way. In that boxing ring, when he told Hilary to stop performing and start being, he was not just giving her a note. He was giving her permission. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to be vulnerable. Permission to trust herself. And that permission changed everything. Not just for Hilary. For every actor who has ever worked with Clint Eastwood, they all tell the same story. They all describe the same experience. The terror of having no direction. The freedom of being trusted, the realization that acting is not about showing the director what you can do. It is about discovering who the character is, and you cannot discover that if someone is telling you what to find. This is why actors line up to work with Clint, not because he is famous, not because his films win awards, but because he sees them, really sees them, not as tools or commodities or means to an end, but as artists, as human beings, as people capable of extraordinary things if given the space to discover them. And in an industry built on control, on manipulation, on ego, that respect is rare, that trust is revolutionary. Years after $1 Million Baby, a young actor asks Hilary what it is like to work with Clint Eastwood. Hilary thinks for a long moment. Then she says, "It is like jumping off a cliff and realizing there is no net. And there is no one telling you how to fall. You just have to trust that you will land. And somehow, with Clint, you always do. Because he has already landed. He is standing at the bottom, watching you fall. And he is not judging you. He is not critiquing you. He is just witnessing you. And that witnessing, that trust, it catches you in a way no net ever could." That is Clint Eastwood, 80 years old now, still working, still creating, still trusting actors to find truth, still refusing to control what should be discovered, still understanding that the greatest gift a director can give, an actor, is not direction. It is freedom, freedom to fail, freedom to succeed, freedom to be messy and human and real. And in that freedom, something magic happens, something that cannot be planned or manufactured or controlled. Truth emerges, and truth is the only thing worth filming. On Stage 17 in 2004, Hilary Swank learned this lesson, and she carried it with her for the rest of her career. Every time she steps on set now, she remembers Clint's words. Stop performing. Just be. And in those 3 words, she found not just a better way to act, she found a better way to live. Present, vulnerable, trusting, free. That is the legacy, not the Oscars, not the box office, not the critical acclaim. The legacy is the lives changed, the actors transformed, the people who learned that control is not strength, trust is. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go and see what happens. Clint Eastwood knows this. He has known it his entire career, and he has spent 60 years proving it, one film at a time, one actor at a time, one moment of trust at a time. That is who he is, not the cowboy, not the icon. The man who understands that truth cannot be controlled. It can only be witnessed, and witnessing is the highest form of respect.